Blitz Wallet is a mobile application for Bitcoin users that is doing a lot of interesting things while keeping it simplified on the front end for new users. Today we're going to dive into how to set up and use Blitz Wallet, as well as what those interesting features are that they're baking into the backend, and how I hope to see them implemented in the future across many different wallets. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.
Bitcoin Well is on a mission to enable independence by being one of the easiest and quickest ways to purchase Bitcoin in Canada and the US. And the best part about it, every buy goes directly into your own self-custody. They never hold your coins. You can add a Bitcoin address as part of onboarding. There's a transparent 1% spread, no hidden fees, no withdrawal fees. Plus they have KYC free sells and bill payments on their website. They're also a publicly traded company under the ticker BTCW on the TSXV. Check them out over at bitcoinwell.com. Check out my full tutorial on how to use them, and you can check out the links in the show notes down below and sign up today. CoinKite.com has some of the best hardware on the market today to secure your Bitcoin. The Cold Card Q is an absolute powerhouse and is my daily driver. And on top of this, they have plenty of other goodies, including the Mark IV, the Tap Signer, Open Dimes, the Block Clock, and much more. If you head over to their website, make sure you use code BTC Sessions at checkout to get a nice discount. Links are in the show notes down below. So let's talk prerequisites. What are you going to need to know in order to successfully navigate this tutorial? And the answer is not too much. If you have a general familiarity with how to send and receive Lightning transactions, then you should be all good to go. But if you don't, you'll probably be able to piece it together just kind of watching and following along. Now, of course, we will be using Blitz Wallet today. It is available for both iPhone and Android, though at the time of recording this video, it's in beta for both of those. That will change over time, but when in doubt, just go to blitz-wallet.com and it will give you the links to download according to the type of phone you are using. Now, I'm going to be interacting with different wallets and referring to different wallets during the course of this tutorial. The main wallet I'm going to be kind of interacting with during the tutorial will be Speed Wallet. So if you're unfamiliar with them, they're a wallet that you can have on your mobile device, and you can also plug it into your browser. So I'll kind of be going browser to phone so that I can see both of them on the same screen together, and that will be helpful. So if you're curious about them, there's a full tutorial down below. I'll also be referring in kind of the explanations to something called Aqua, which is functioning in a similar way to how Blitz is. While I may not be interacting with it directly, again, I've covered it in a tutorial. You can see it down below. And I'll also be making reference to something called cashu, which Blitz Wallet also utilizes in the background. If you're curious about that, hit the links down below, as I've said before. But either way, let's quickly chat about what Blitz is using in the background, just to give you a bird's eye view of the different protocols. And so I want to refer to three things. One being ecash, using the cashu protocol. Number two, the liquid network. And number three, the Lightning Network in a self-sovereign way, we'll say. Okay, so let's start with ecash. Cashu, what is this? This is we'll say the least sovereign way that you can transact with some benefits and trade-offs. Okay, so cashu or ecash in this instance is effectively pushing off custody to somebody else who is running a Lightning node and allowing you to transact with it. And so again, you're trading off the custody, but with it, you get the benefit of not having to set up your own Lightning channels and low fees. and some pretty good privacy in the ecash sense. And what I mean by that is you receive a transaction, but it's going into a mint that consists of a whole bunch of different people, and there's no indication which person has sent or received a transaction from said mint. So that's the benefit there. Let's move up the sovereignty stack to Liquid Network. Now, this is a federated setup, meaning there's a pool of funds and is governed by a number of key holders that are dispersed around the globe. And so with this, you have 15 key holders for the Liquid Federation, and 11 of them are needed to collude in order to rug pull your funds. Whereas jumping back to the cashu instance, it's a single entity that could rug pull. And so the assurances with Liquid versus cashu are slightly, I shouldn't say slightly, they're quite a bit greater, that it's going to be much more difficult for people to collude and steal funds. And on top of it, the key holders for Liquid Network, these key holders are in a lot of instances very publicly identifiable entities that would suffer great reputational damage if they were to collude and rug pull the user base. And then finally, let's move one further step up this sovereignty stack, and that would be full self-custodial Lightning. You have a Lightning channel from your phone in some instances, or a Lightning node, wherever. You have a Lightning channel from yourself to another Lightning node with on-chain funds locked up between the two of you so that you can relay transactions to and from and to any other entities that you are connected to through that node. And so when you look at these three things, cashu, Liquid Network, Lightning Network, in a self-sovereign manner, you are going from kind of easiest setup but least sovereignty to most setup and most sovereignty. There are shades of gray in between, as we've seen. But the cool thing about Blitz is that they do it in a unique way where you don't need to think about what's happening in the background. It will move you up the sovereignty stack the more funds that you hold in the wallet. So with that in mind, let's dive into Blitz Wallet. Let's get it downloaded and let's get started using it so you can see how it works firsthand. Okay, let's start on my mobile device. I've navigated to blitz-wallet.com just in my browser here. Now, again, as I said, this is in beta right now, so the download flow is going to be a little bit different than when these are both available on your app stores. But regardless, that will be updated on the website itself when they are out of beta. So this install flow may be pretty different later on, in which case when you tap it, it'll just take you to your app store. But I do want to show what it looks like currently, just in case some of you are diving into this before it officially enters the app store. So I'm going to choose Android, and it bumps me to their GitHub. Okay. And so this is kind of how people have been downloading and testing right now. So I can click on see the latest version right here where it says downloads. That's what I'm going to click on for downloads here. And I'll just scroll down a little bit, and it's this APK file that I want. So I'm going to tap for the APK. It's going to download a file. And when it does, I should be able to just open it. Okay, I'm going to hit open. It's going to ask if I want to install. I'll just hit just once for now, but you can hit always, and it'll know, do I want to install this? Yes. And it will go through the process for me. Okay, app is installed. I can click open. It'll also show up on my main page there, but nonetheless, this bumps us directly into the wallet itself. Okay, now it gives us two options. We can make a new wallet or we can enter a seed phrase. I'm going to make a brand new wallet out the gate. I'll tap that button. It says, hey, this is self-custodial. Blitz doesn't have any access to your funds. If funds are lost, we cannot help you recover them. With great power comes great responsibility from Uncle Ben. I'm so glad they included that. Long live the Bens, Bitcoin Bens for the win. Continue on. Next, There is a seed phrase. I would write that down. Again, this is demo purposes, so don't worry. I'm going to wipe this wallet afterwards and take all the funds off, but gives you a 12-word seed phrase, which you are going to jot down. I'm going to do that right this very moment, actually. Okay, and then after you've written it down, you can hit next, and it's going to ask you to confirm your backup by typing in all of your words. As you type, it will begin to fill in possible words, which you can tap down below and just go through your whole list until you've confirmed everything. With my full seed phrase typed in, I hit verify. That all looks good. And then you're going to set a 4-digit PIN and confirm it. Perfect. And now everything will get set up. We'll be through this in a second. All right, and here we go. We are into our main screen on Blitz Wallet. And let's go for an overview of the app as a whole before we start transacting. Okay, so main screen here, you've got a total balance in the middle. You've got your send and receive buttons, as well as a scan button. We'll hit while using the app. The first time you open it up, it will ask for permission to use the camera. So just so you know, any previous transactions will be down below. Up top left, you've got a toggle between dark and light mode. I'm partial to the dark, so I'm going to keep it that way. Top right, you've got this green little button that lets you know that you're connected to the Bitcoin network. It also gives you some rundowns on if you have your own Lightning channel, what your channel is looking like, and what your capacity is, if you're familiar with those concepts. Top right-hand side, you have your settings wheel. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. We'll go through that momentarily. And then down at the bottom, you've got a few things. We are currently on the middle tab, which is our wallet. You have a contact section where you can add contacts. And then in the bottom right, you have some options for store. So you can shop gift cards. They have AI stuff. They have messaging, VPN, all that kind of stuff that you can use with your Lightning balance, which is also a cool, convenient little feature that we'll dive into. Outside of this, I do want to highlight some things in the settings wheel. So let's go back there, top right. Okay, so you have some general about info here about the wallet, how it works. You have display currency, so you can set your local currency. Let's do that to USD and tap on that. Okay, perfect. You have display options, so dark mode, light mode, dim, all that, current denomination, if you want to display sats or whatever. If you want to slide for your camera, I'm going to leave that off. And then how many displayed transactions do you want at one time? Okay. Now you can also edit your contact profile. So you can have contacts within Blitz Wallet. And so you can set your own name. You can have a username. It will give you a default one there. You can also attach a bio. I'm going to leave this be for now. I do have a separate Blitz Wallet on another phone. And so I'll be using that in the contacts section when we show how to do all that. Okay. But either way, if you change anything, just make sure you hit save down below. Looking back here, biometric login. So this, again, if you have like fingerprint or phone face, you can do all that kind of stuff. You also have your backup. And this is where you can view your recovery phrase again. Should you lose the backup, you can go back and find it again. All right, node info. Again, if you have a Lightning channel to you, it will let you know and give you information about that. The Lightning service provider and what Lightning node you would be using via an LSP. So when you get a Lightning channel, if you have enough funds there, then this is the Lightning node it will be coming from. Let's keep going. Bank. This has to do with your liquid Bitcoin balance, and we'll dive into a little bit of that later. But yeah, this is going to be, if you have anything in liquid, it will let you know right here. On-chain funds. So I believe this would be if you had a Lightning channel and it got closed for some reason or got shut down, you would have on-chain funds visible here. If you have any failed swaps between Lightning and Liquid and all that kind of stuff, it will show up here. Again, this is getting a little technical here. Down below, you can reset the wallet, delete everything, and start from scratch if you want to. Be careful there. And then experimental. You can use ecash for tiny transactions. Anything sub 1,000 sats, I believe. I'm actually going to turn that on right now because we're going to see some of that down below. And I will show you for the setup if you want to use this. Pretty simple. It says enter a mint. The way that you do this, it says click here to find mints. It's going to open up a browser window. And it's going to show a list of a whole bunch of different mints. You can filter those and choose cashu only mints because that's what we're using. But either way, I'm just going to use the mini bits mint for this. I'm just going to copy that information. I'll hit X up in the top left, and then I'm going to paste that in and hit the check mark. And that will add it as an option. So if I'm receiving small transactions, a few sats here and there, it will use ecash for that. Okay. So, and that's just because Liquid is not suited for super small amounts like that. So we'll go into more details in that afterwards and kind of the explanation, final thoughts. But nonetheless, if you're testing this out with small amounts, I would encourage you to turn this on for now. And then finally, point of sale. Point of sale gives you, again, you choose a display currency. You have a store name. I'm not going to change it right now, but this will dive into the point of sale stuff later, but I just want you to be aware that it's there right now. Okay, so that takes us through the entire settings menu, all of the navigation. Now, let's start using this wallet. Now, just to get some terms out of the way, cashu, Liquid, and Lightning. So cashu is a protocol that is effectively a custodial, I don't want to say service, but you're giving up custody of your funds to somebody else who is running a Lightning node. And with that trade-off, you get fantastic privacy in the sense that transactions between people within that custodial situation are perfectly private, and you're kind of getting the gain of efficiency because you don't have to set up Lightning channels. You're getting a gain of privacy because it's the privacy of the crowd. There's going to be many people in a single mint and a single Lightning transaction going in. No indication as to which person has received that transaction. However, of course, you're trading off custody and you are trusting the operator of that mint not to rug pull it and abscond with the funds. So that should be reserved for smaller amounts. Now, in the middle, you've got something referred to as a liquid network. This is a federated model, meaning there's a pool of funds that is held in a multisig. There are multiple key holders geographically distributed around the world, many of them identifiable large entities that would suffer massive reputational damage if they were to become malicious. And it would require, I believe, 11 of the 15 key holders around the globe to collude and become malicious all at the same time in order to have your funds rug pulled. Now, that's not impossible, but it's also very difficult and much more unlikely than a single entity rug pulling you. So you get kind of a greater, I don't want to say guarantee, but you have a greater sense of security around that, at least you should, compared to a single entity holding your funds. And then finally, the Lightning Network, which many of us, I imagine watching the video, are familiar with. When using Lightning yourself in a self-sovereign way, that means you have a Lightning channel yourself with Bitcoin locked up between you and another node, being able to send to and from through that singular channel to whatever other node you're linked to. And you have not a full guarantee, but you basically have a pretty good assurance that you can unilaterally exit at any point with all of your funds on-chain, back to a regular on-chain Bitcoin wallet. So those are kind of the differentiations going from cashu to liquid to lightning, where you're going from custodial to federated to full self-custody, moving up the sovereignty stack. All right. So, trusting, or I guess you could call it the trust stack. Maximum trust in somebody else, maximum trust in yourself with these kind of protocols that allow you quicker and cheaper, and in some cases, much more private transactions. So hopefully that kind of helps you get a handle on these different protocols that are being used in the background. But without getting into too many details, let's get started with Blitz Wallet, get ourselves set up, and start transacting. All right, so we're going to start transacting here, and I've opted to use my actually previously used and previously set up Blitz Wallet. So I've done everything to my liking. I set up my own profile, all of that, everything that we did in the setup, but for my own account. And so you can see, obviously, there's an existing balance. There's a history of transactions and everything. So, I've been playing around. And so we're going to start transacting, and we're going to be starting with micropayments. And we're going to take a look at how this wallet handles the micropayments. And in the context of this video, anything below 1,000 sats is considered a micropayment within Blitz Wallet. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to choose receive, and I'm going to do 18 sats as a request. So I'll hit the request button. This is going to create a Lightning invoice. Of course, anybody could scan this with their phone. We're going to be copying the actual invoice string of text and using a web plugin that I have for Speed Wallet. But of course, we have turned on a feature during the setup, which was using ecash. And so you can see that denoted below the Lightning invoice that it will be using ecash for this particular transaction. So I hit copy, and that's going to copy my Lightning invoice. I'm going to jump over to my browser. I'll hit my little drop down for Speed Wallet. I'll hit send. I'll paste in the invoice right there. Proceed. It will recognize, hey, this is an 18 sat request. Would you like to pay it? I'll hit send. And off it should go. We should get notifications from both Speed Wallet and over there in Blitz momentarily. All right, so now we have our notifications on both ends. Speed Wallet, 18 sats going out. And here in our Blitz Wallet, we get the blue check mark. And there we go, 18 sats coming in. Now let's take a look at where that has come into. And we're gonna go into the settings and see a little bit about what's going on here. So we'll go settings. We're gonna go down to the thing that pertains to the ecash because it is an experimental feature. We're gonna tap on that. And what we see, and I will say that I've played around in this one with a couple different mints, but I've got the mini bits mint and I've got the mint.lnvolts.com, and you can see balances in those. And actually, I guess we didn't see this in the settings, but you can actually click on the mint that you prefer to use. And in this case, I'm using the LN Volts one. But either way, we can see a balance of 222 sats in that particular mint. And those are my micropayments that we just did and ones that I previously done into the wallet as well. So that's where you will be receiving into if you are doing a micropayment that is below 1,000 sats. It will be the mint that you've set up will be where it is received to. All right, so now we are going to receive something a little bit bigger. So I'm going to do a transaction for 10,000 sats into the wallet. So this is no longer in micropayment territory. So let's take a look at how the wallet handles this. So I'll hit receive. I'll get 10,000 sats put up there, which is $6 or so. Now it lets me know with this, there is going to be a fee of 65 sats. Now, why is that? It's because in the background, there's a swap happening between a Lightning transaction and liquid Bitcoin. So we're actually going to be receiving liquid Bitcoin, but we're able to receive that through a Lightning payment with a boltz swap, which is an online service that swaps between different Bitcoin options. in the background done for us. We don't need to think about it, but it just lets us know, hey, there's a small fee attached. So I'm going to hit request. Once again, this will create a Lightning invoice for us. No little disclaimer here. We already saw that there's going to be a small fee, but no ecash disclaimer, anything like that. Okay, so I'm now going to copy that invoice. Let's jump again over to Speed here in my browser. I'm going to hit send. Let's paste in that invoice and proceed. It sees, hey, this is a 10,000 sat request. Let's hit send and off it shall go. Okay, so simultaneous notifications here from both Speed and Blitz. And it says down below in Blitz, it says, your payment has been received and your balance will be updated shortly. So I'm going to hit continue there. And it does take a second to show up here. And that's because, again, you're getting liquid Bitcoin. And while Lightning is more or less instant, as soon as the wallet recognizes it, it will be there. Liquid, there's a confirmation time, much like on-chain Bitcoin, there are blocks. And liquid blocks are 1 minute long. And so you get a confirmation after 1 minute, and it's a consistent 1 minute that those blocks happen in. And after 2 minutes, it's considered fully confirmed and irreversible. So as soon as that happens, as soon as we hit a block on the liquid sidechain, then it will be reflected here in my balance, and we should see the total balance go up, and we should see also a listed transaction down below. Okay, and there we go. We can now see the updated balance. And again, it's not the full 10,000 sats because we were let know that there would be a small fee attached to this transaction. Now that fee, yes, the boltz fee plays into that, but also just the general on-chain fee for liquid, which is much cheaper than a regular on-chain Bitcoin transaction. So yes, it can vary depending on the amount being sent, but it is still negligible, we'll say. It's not a micro payment, but it is quite a small fee that you end up paying in terms of the nominal value. So there we go. So I can click on this. We see some details, everything there. And yeah, we've now received not an ecash payment, but a Lightning payment that was swapped into liquid. And so what I want to show here again is how the wallet handled that. Where is that balance? Because before we saw the ecash balance, but we didn't see where the rest was. So we're going to hit the settings up top, and we're going to scroll down to where we see bank. And so why bank? Why this reference? I'll click on it first so we can see. Well, there's our incoming transaction. There's previous transactions that I've done in this wallet, and a balance, which is roughly our balance minus the ecash sitting there. But again, why bank? Why that term? Well, what the guys at Blitz are trying to basically refer to is that you are using liquid Bitcoin, in which there is trust involved. Liquid sidechain is a big multisig, as I described, many different key holders, geographically distributed. So it's more secure than a single entity like an ecash mint. However, there's still trust involved, and you are not holding on-chain Bitcoin yourself. You're holding liquid Bitcoin, which is pegged one-to-one with on-chain Bitcoin through this federation. And so, you know, I think it's fair to have this label here of bank. It lets people know that you're not in full control of the on-chain funds. And yeah, we'll see many different ways of labeling this in the future, but there you have it. That's what it's referring to when it says bank. This is your liquid Bitcoin balance in the settings there. And once again, experimental, you can see the sats that are sitting in any ecash mints down below under experimental. So there you have it. Now there is another way to interact with this wallet at much higher values. We're going to take a look at that next. Speed Wallet is a Bitcoin Lightning wallet built with simplicity in mind. Spend and receive with ease, claim your own Lightning address, shop your favorite gift cards, and even earn rewards when you spend. Head over to speed.app to download the app on your mobile or desktop today and use the link down below to get 5,000 sats for free and have the chance to win even more. Keeper is a fully open source Bitcoin app created to help you stack sats long term. Easily use your hardware devices or assisted keys to create multisig wallets and plan your inheritance. Head over to bitcoinkeeper.app to download the app and use code BTC Sessions 30 to get a 30% discount on your first subscription. Debify.com allows you to borrow against your Bitcoin in a non-custodial way. Collateral is held in a 3 of 4 distributed multisig with trusted parties. It provides institutional liquidity providers, loan periods of up to 5 years with flexible conditions and the best rates. And best of all, no rehypothecation of your funds. If you want to check them out today, head over to debify.com or hit the link in the show notes down below. Up until now, we have been dealing with shades of custody in that either we're trusting an individual running a cashu mint for very, very small amounts, or we're trusting the liquid federation for medium amounts, which again, we've kind of outlined is more secure than trusting a single custodian, but is not full self-custody. So how do we get to full self-custody? And the answer comes in a build of your balance and some specific settings that we can do within the wallet to dictate when that triggers. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the settings in the top right. And then I'm going to go down to bank, which denotes all of the liquid related stuff that we've been doing. Now, at the bottom of my transaction history, there is something that says advanced settings. We're going to take a look at what this entails. So there's a few things in front of us. There's an auto channel rebalance. We'll get to that momentarily because I want to outline the channel itself. There's something that says regulate channel open, and then something that says max channel open fee. Okay, so let's check out regulate channel open first. So it says channel open size in sats. And right now it is listed as 500,000 sats. So what this means is if I get to a threshold of over 500,000 sats in my liquid balance, then it will automatically, the wallet will automatically start trying to open a Lightning channel for me so that I will have full custody. And they do this through a Lightning service provider. Now, to clarify, start trying, well, that is going to depend on the fee, right? So if the fees are currently higher on chain, then it won't be trying to open a channel because it will recognize, hey, this is above my set max channel open fee that I would like to pay. And so if that happens, then it will just wait until fees are low enough to open a channel for me. So it's all kind of nice and automated. Now, of course, I can change my max open fee if I'm okay with having it higher or if I want it lower. I can change the channel open size. Maybe I want to wait until I hit 1 million sats. Now, that currently is the maximum that you can set there for a channel open. But you can set a lower channel open if I'm not mistaken. I wouldn't advise having channels much lower than that because that can be a little prohibitive just in and around when you go to if you go to close the channel later, then a portion of that will be eaten up with on-chain fees. If you have a channel that's too small, there's something called a channel reserve, which reserves some of the balance in the channel for things like forced closures and all of that. And so, to have a balance that you can play with and use, you want to have a decent sized channel. So, I would probably set this to actually 1 million sats if I wasn't in a test environment and just kind of showing you how this would work. But here we are. Now, the last thing up here. So again, it'll auto open a channel if you hit your threshold, as long as the fees are below what you've set. You have to have this toggle switch on, by the way, for that to happen. Up top, auto channel rebalance. This is interesting. You can have a mix of liquid and lightning in your wallet, and you can set a percentage that you would like to have. And so this says, by turning on auto channel rebalance, Blitz will automatically swap funds from your channel to the bank or the bank to your channel based on the percentage of outgoing capacity you initially want. So let's say I want a channel of 1 million sats. What will happen is it will say, if my percentage is set to 90%, it will make it so that 1 million sat channel, 90%, that's 90% of my total balance. And then another 10% will be in liquid. And if I spend out of my channel, it will auto swap from liquid to my lightning channel to hit that threshold, and vice versa. If I have a lower liquid balance, it will auto swap to there. Now, it's important to note, why would you have a lightning and liquid balance? Well, when you open a channel, you may exceed the size of the channel you've opened if you're doing more receiving than spending. And so if you go over the threshold of the size of your channel, say my channel's set to, well, it's going to be set to 500,000 sats. If I have more than 500,000 sats in my own lightning channel and there's no more receive capacity, well, then it will again start when I hit to receive money, it will begin again serving up liquid invoices or rather lightning invoices that are going to swap to liquid in my wallet. If I hit this threshold, 500,000 sats, in my liquid balance again, it will execute another swap, which will create a new channel. So now I'll have 2 channels. So basically, you're guaranteed to only have whatever this maximum you've set. You're guaranteed to kind of have that as a maximum of what you will allow to be sitting in liquid Bitcoin, so that you minimize the amount of funds which you're entrusting with the federation. And so you've kind of got this threshold where micropayments, okay, single custodian, whatever I'm dealing with, a few hundred sats here and there, not a big deal. Slightly more, okay, great. I'm dealing with liquid. This is now kind of day-to-day spending cash up to 500,000, 1 million sats, something along those lines. If I get up to a few $100, I'm now looking to go on-chain full self-custody, and that will auto-trigger with these settings. And so we're going to see what that looks like now. Sorry for the preamble here, but I felt like I had to kind of set it up for you guys what's going on. We're going to receive a large transaction into this wallet, and then we're going to come back and take a look as that channel is established and take a look at how the wallet reacts to that. So let's get back out of this. We're going to go back all the way to the main screen. All those settings are set. Anything above a 500,000 sat balance should trigger an opening of a lightning channel. So we're going to do that. I'm going to hit, not send, that's silly, receive. Okay, I'm going to receive 600,000 sats, and I've already got a bit of a balance, but I just kind of want to go above and beyond so that we kind of see how it reacts to this. I can see that the fee to receive that is going to be around 1,540 sats. That's fine. We're going to be well above the 500,000 sat threshold, even with the fee. And that gives me an idea of roughly what fees are looking like in terms of a channel open and what that might cost. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll hit request. Here comes my Lightning invoice. And then it says, amount is above your receiving capacity. Sending this payment will incur this fee, meaning it's going to create a Lightning channel. Now, I'm seeing that, and I'm wondering if I should change my threshold on the fees. So maybe I will do that. I don't have a good answer for that yet, but I'm going to set my OK fee to 10,000 sats just because I don't want this to fail here. So I'll just go back to settings. We'll go to the bank and the advanced settings. Let's change this from 5,000 to 10,000. Again, if you're not a fan of that potential fee, you don't have to do that. I just, again, in the context of this video, I just want it to kind of go through without a hitch here. So I'll take that hit if it happens. Okay, so once again, we'll hit receive 600,000 sats. Request. Here comes our Lightning invoice. There we go. Same message. Let's copy that. I've in between takes, I loaded up my speed wallet, so there's enough capacity there. So I'm going to hit send. Let's paste in that invoice. Proceed. It sees, hey, 600,000 sats going here. Does that look good? Looks good. Let's hit send. Let's just kind of see how the wallet handles that inbound transaction out the gate. Okay, there's our notification in both wallets. Looks good. We'll hit continue. Your payment has been received and your balance will be updated shortly. So there we go. Ooh, there we go. Oh, nice. So it shows right away down below, there's this nice little bar that shows my capability of send and receive, the capacity in the Lightning channel. So that's interesting. So right out the gate, we see that. Balance was updated quite quickly. So you can see that reduced balance, and that's going to be a mix of things. A few things had to happen here, right? We received a Lightning transaction, and then they had to execute an on-chain transaction. And how would that work? That would be like it would instantly recognize that, okay, you've done this send into boltz. There's probably going to be a boltz fee. And then that's going to realize, oh, hey, no, that wouldn't be going to boltz. I'm working through this in front of you guys. You can see I'm kind of, so no, as soon as I created the invoice, it recognized that that's above the boltz, what I've set. And so it said, okay, you're going to be going to the Lightning service provider. So the Lightning service provider is saying, hey, we're going to charge you a fee in order to create an open channel for you for however long that they set up the channel for. And so I believe that's what has then transpired. So there's an on-chain fee plus the fee of the Lightning service provider. But now that that's set up, my send and receive within that threshold is just ready to go. So let's go into settings here and see what's going on. So we're going to go down to node info. Under technical settings, let's take a look. Okay, so we have, so there's the node info, send and receive. Now I'm not seeing the receive capacity, so we're going to try a receive. Maybe that's just, again, it's early. It's this. I'm still doing this while it's in beta, so maybe that's maybe that will be present once the channel officially confirms. We'll see. But it shows the peer ID of the Lightning node that I am connected to. No on-chain balance because there's not been a channel closure or anything. It shows the current block height. Okay. Let's go to LSP. Again, this was the same info as before. That would be the Lightning service provider that opened a channel with me. Okay. So I believe now... and actually, you know what? Let's go back. Let's look at the bank as well. See if there's a balance there. Yeah. So interesting. Okay. So it was the total receive that created the Lightning balance, but it did not pull from the bank. I believe that would be different if I had, say I had 450,000 sats and then I received a 60,000 sat transaction or a 100,000 sat transaction, which would just bump me up above that 500,000 sat threshold. I believe then in the background, it would automate the beginnings of creating a Lightning channel. So maybe the way I demonstrated, is a little bit different than you may experience it if you gradually build the balance, whereas I just kind of showed it all in one fell swoop here. Okay. So there we go. Now we've received and we have a lightning channel. And again, we'll kind of examine this as we go, but let's dive into receiving just a regular lightning transaction and see what that looks like. Because it does show that we have received capacity. So let's take a look at that. Let's try, I don't know, let's say 2,000 sats and see where it goes. So let's now it looks like it's going to the bank. I wonder. It does say 0. So maybe it did just open a channel for the exact amount that I sent in with no inbound. That might be the case. Okay, so what we're going to do to really settle this. I like that you can click on that, by the way, and it shows sats in the lightning channel. Okay. Let's try this. We're going to send some money back to speed. So I'll create an invoice here. Receive. We'll add an amount. Let's say, I don't know, 50,000 sats. I just want to see where it comes from. Does it come from the lightning channel or does it come from Liquid? Submit. Okay, so here's our lightning invoice. We're going to hit send. We'll use from clipboard because I copied it to my clipboard. No, that's not correct. I think it's having, it's trying to pull, that's what's happening. It's trying to pull from the clipboard on my phone. That's why. Okay, so we'll hit send. We'll do manual input and then I'll paste send manual input and I will paste from my computer. Is that the same one? Yes, it is. Accept. Okay, there we go. My bad. That's not a bug with Blitz. That's me operating between a tethered phone and my computer. That's why the confusion. Okay, so there we go. Fee and spend instant and 0 Blitz fee. We're sending 50,000 sats. Okay, let's see how this goes. Sending. So slide to send. Okay, received into speed. There we go. We'll hit continue. Okay, so where'd that come from? That came from the lightning channel. All right, so it seems like it's going to default to the lightning channel. It seems like the channel that was opened was specifically the amount I sent in minus the fees. And now we have inbound capacity. So it was correct. I would say, just in terms of something I'd like to see, this graph, it'd be kind of cool to actually see it move based on your capacity. Because I saw this white part and I was like, oh, I must have inbound. Maybe that opened a slightly larger channel than what I sent in. That's cool. And then I assumed that it just was incorrect. But no, it was indeed 0 inbound capacity. And I didn't have inbound until I sent out. Okay. So again, the way you're approaching this from a lightning capacity and liquidity approach, whatever you send in a large transaction is going to be spendable balance. And so if you're constantly sending in, again, the thresholds are really helpful because you're not having to up your channel balance every single time because it'll split the two. But yeah, there you go. Now, what I don't know and what I'm uncertain about is if I've got, I guess it doesn't really matter, but I've got my bank balance, right? I've got my liquid balance here. I believe based on the threshold, 90%, that it will auto swap from my bank balance to my lightning, to my lightning channel if I get below that 90%. So again, just as a demo, I'm going to send out one more time. Let's send a larger amount. We'll send 150,000 sats. So I'll hit receive here. We'll add an amount, 150,000 sats. I'll copy that. I'm going to hit send. We'll do manual input so I can actually paste it. There There we go. 150,000 sats. And I will slide to send. And then again, we'll wait a few minutes. We'll see how the wallet behaves and see if it does an auto swap to rebalance. Notification in speed, notification in Blitz. There we go. So now we've got 391,000 sats on one side of the channel, 102 inbound, and we've also got in the bank about 76,000. So I believe there will be some rebalancing that takes place, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? 10, yeah. That should be right. I believe that we're over the threshold for doing a swap. While we're at it, just again, so I kind of get that capacity right, let's do one more send. What I want to do is I want to send to a Lightning address. So I have this BTC sessions at speed.app. So I'm going to hit send. I'll do manual input. It says you can paste a liquid Lightning address or invoice. So I should be able to paste in this. Then it should ask me how much. There we go. How many sats do I want? I'm going to do another 100,000. All right. Instant, no fee. Okay. Okay. There we go. I just had to tap somewhere on my screen and then slide to confirm. So we'll send off another 100,000 sats. I don't know if it will pop up the little check mark because there's not an active invoice in Blitz, or sorry, in Speed. But nonetheless, off it goes. Continue. There we go. Okay. Just had to pop over. Okay. So there's the change balance. So now we're well below that. Now, the other interesting thing is I can send to a liquid wallet as well. So I'm just going to kind of quickly show here. I'll pull up Aqua Wallet. Okay, so here in Aqua Wallet, I'm going to do a receive, and I'm going to get a liquid address, and I should be able to just send to that as well. So we'll go send. We'll do manual input here because we're not scanning at the time. We'll do that. And let's do 100,000 sats. Now, the fee here is the liquid on-chain fee. Okay, so on-chain transaction fee. Okay, so we've sent, we'll just tap anywhere else on the screen. It would be nice if we had like a collapse down because it's not very clear there that you can collapse that down. Nonetheless, good to send. And that should be sent off pretty quickly. Okay, there goes the liquid transaction. Now that was I'm an idiot. Apologies. That was 100,000 sats. How did that work? That was a Lightning transaction. Why was it? I'm again, audibly working through this in my head as I go. That was a Lightning transaction. Why was it a Lightning transaction? Well, I only had $76,000 sats in liquid. So that did a boltz swap to Aqua because I didn't have enough just liquid. So if we look, I bet the bank hasn't changed. Let's try. There's the bank. Yeah. So I'm going to do a lower amount and see if it debits the liquid side of things. Okay. So let's do that once more. Go back out. And let me, yeah, there we go. So there's the incoming transaction that we just did. But let's do that again. I'm going to get a liquid address, jump back over. We're going to hit send. We're going to, I'll paste from clipboard because I'm doing this from my phone now. I'm going to send 50,000 sats below the threshold of what was in. Okay, so fee and spend, fee and speed, instant and 294 sats fee. So is this going to debit my Lightning balance again, or is it going to pull from the bank? I would like that as a setting, as a choice, but let's see what happens. Again, you're learning alongside me. Slide to confirm. Okay, instant. Where did it come from? Settings. I can't remember what my balance was before. Bank. It did not come from the bank. Okay, interesting. All right. Okay, so nonetheless, we sent off a number of different transactions. We now have a Lightning channel with inbound capacity. We have about 191,000 sats on our Lightning channel, on our side of the channel. And then we have 70 something odd thousand sats sitting in the bank, AKA as liquid. Oh, what happened there? It did debit from there. Wait a minute. Did it just do a swap? I think it did. Okay, here's that transaction. It did debit. Okay, so it came out of the bank. There we go. So there's my answer. If you go to send to a liquid address and it is below the amount that you have sitting in liquid, it will use your liquid balance. If it's above your liquid balance, it will use your Lightning channel and it will swap from Lightning to liquid because it's not going to do some weird hybrid thing. It's just going to pull from the balance that works the most seamlessly. So there we go. Okay, cool. So we're going to go through all that. We're going to figure all that out, and we'll kind of encapsulate everything and how this wallet hands it. Thanks for kind of sitting through and kind of learning alongside me as I played with balances and figured this out. And I've talked to the guys at Blitz, but of course, like it takes a moment to kind of wrap your head around exactly how this wallet handles different types of payments. So we're going to reiterate that in a moment here. So we'll jump to full screen. And actually, before we do, let's try a micro payment and see how that works. That should be debited from our mint. Okay, so we'll go into settings, go into experimental. We've got, 200 sats in our main mint here. Let's send a 15 sat payment and see what happens. Okay, so over in speed, we'll create an amount, 15 sats, and we've got our invoice. So I hit send. I'll do this and send. It's weird on the computer. Paste it in, accept, 15 sats. Okay, instant, 0 fee. All right. No, this isn't gonna be, this is gonna be a regular Lightning transaction. Why do I know that? Well, I have a Lightning channel now. That's what's going on. Yeah, I guarantee that's going to be pulled from, we're not going to see any change in the micropayment stuff because now that we have an established Lightning channel, why would we need to use cashu, right? So there you go. So sent, type Lightning. Yeah. So that came from my Lightning channel, as it should. But just to confirm, experimental, yeah, no change in our mint balances. Interesting. Okay. So basically you're only really dealing with cashu if you do not have an active Lightning channel and you're sitting in liquid. It will use cashu in the interim for smaller payments. But as soon as you do have a Lightning channel, there's no need to rely on a custodian for those micro payments. They will just use your channel by default. Cool. All right. Let's reiterate everything we've just gone through. Okay. So obviously we've kind of gone through this as we went. But just as to fully encapsulate everything, you set up your wallet. Out the gate, if you receive anything below 1,000 sats, it will be to a cashu mint as long as you have enabled that feature Anything below that, if you have not enabled cashu and ecash, means that it will not work. It's below the threshold for being able to do a swap. Anything above 1,000 sats up to whatever your threshold is, 500,000 or 1,000,000 sats, will be auto swapped via boltz so that you receive liquid Bitcoin. So you go from micropayments, trusting an operator of a cashu mint, which is fine for small amounts, to slightly larger amounts up to either 500,000 or 1,000,000 sats or wherever you set it, will be liquid Bitcoin set within your wallet. Now, based on your threshold, if it gets over that 500,000 or million, or wherever you set it, if you send in, if you build up a balance that goes over your threshold gradually over time, and it's not the full balance, then if you have the feature turned on, it will start trying to open a Lightning channel for you in the background. However, if you have an existing balance, but you receive one large transaction above the threshold for the entire transaction, it will recognize, hey, this is going to require a Lightning channel, and it will auto open it based on exactly the amount that you have sent in. These could change over time. You now have a Lightning channel, which means you no longer have a need for the cashu mints. You will default to everything, even micropayments will be Lightning. When do you use liquid? Well, it will auto rebalance based on your percentage of what you want in Lightning versus liquid. So that will be happening in the background. But also, if you go to send to a liquid address, if it's within the amount of liquid Bitcoin that you have, it will just debit from that amount. If it's above it, it will use your Lightning balance and it will auto swap in the background. I know there's a lot there. The nice thing about this is it is all automated. So to the user that uses this wallet, it will just react how it needs to react based on those thresholds. You can go in and change them as you please and turn on and off different features, but it's all automated. So you just receive and send and it just does its thing. But if you're curious in how it works, there you go. That's what's happening in the background. All right, let's talk contacts. How do you add people as contacts? What functionality do you get once you've added them? All of that. So right out the gate, obviously bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you hit contacts, you're going to be showing your contact screen. I have one contact in this wallet already. You can toggle on and off, hide unknown contacts, but there you go. In the top right, there's a sandwich board menu that you can tap, and it gives you a few options: My Profile or Add Contact. Now, if you want to share your profile with somebody for them to add you, you hit My Profile. It's going to present a QR code where you can add the individual, and you can do that from within Blitz Wallet. Now, this contact list is all internal to Blitz itself. It's not using any sort of external protocol to do it. It's just like an internal, again, kind of like if you were using, even though this is degrees of kind of self-custody, same idea as if you're on Strike, you can add a Strike user, but you can't add a Cash App user. Same thing here. If you're on Blitz, you can add a Blitz user, but you can't add a Strike user. So it's not interoperable between different wallet standards. It's an internal thing to Blitz. So yes, anybody could scan this. I could also hit share, and it just gives me a string of text that I can then share to whoever I prefer. Okay, so how do I add a contact? Now, I do have the original wallet that we set up here in front of me, and so I'm going to scan and add that profile as a contact. So again, I'm going to go up to the top right, hit the sandwich board. I'm going to hit Add Contact. Now, it does give you a list where you can search through by username, whatever. You can paste in that link that you had before, all of that. But now up top, we do have a a little option to scan using the camera. So I'm going to do just that. There we go. No, that's the original one that we set up earlier. So I'm going to hit add contact there. There we go. Perfect. So I'll go back. Let's go to down in the bottom, top right. We'll go to contacts page. And now I have Sile Pony. I don't even know what that means. Sile Pony 29 added as a contact. So I'll now click on them and we have this main screen. Okay. Send and request. So if I go ahead, I can just send and I will say I would like to send them, I don't know, let's do 100 sats. Does that look good? I'll hit the send button down at the bottom. Oh, side note here. I just tried to send 100 sats, but silly me, the original contact that we're trying to send to does not have a lightning channel. So, I mean, that should go through as a micropayment, correct? But I'm not seeing that option. And let me make sure in the other wallet that I have cashu turned on. It is turned on. I do have a mint. Oh, you know what? I don't have the right mint. I should join the same mint together. There we go. So here's some of the intricacies that you're going to see as you're interacting with other users there and how that will be handled. Yeah. Okay. So we'll jump ahead. I'm just going to make sure that that is set. Okay. So let's give that another try. We're going to click on the profile. We'll hit send. Let's try 100 sats again. Now, is that going to work? Doesn't appear to. Okay, well, let's do a larger transaction then. Let's do, I don't know, 20,000 sats. Okay, send. Well, I mean, it's giving me more than it did before. Okay, great. So instant 250 sat fee. Okay, all right. And why is the fee there? Because I'm going from my. Is it going to do a lightning to liquid swap? I imagine it would just do, if I've got enough liquid, then it will just send a liquid transaction. That's what it should do in my opinion, but we'll see. Okay, send. Off it shall go. There we go. Payment has been sent. We'll wait for our transaction history to update. I've jumped over to the other phone with the received transaction, and we can see there's the 20,000 sats successful. And more importantly, in the technical details, we can see it was indeed a liquid transaction. I was able to look into the bank of the original phone, and yes, it was debited from my liquid balance, not the lightning balance, because it was within the amount that I had sitting there. Again, if it was anything above, it would have been a swap into the liquid balance of this recipient here, but it would have been coming from the original lightning channel with a swap in between. I hope, I know there's a lot there again, but I hope that that's kind of helpful for some of you. But if you're not grasping the back end of things, it doesn't matter because it just went through and it just worked. And we did it through our contacts list as well. Now, important to note that this individual, this contact has not added me as a contact. So it's not like a thing where you receive, let's see. Yeah. Contacts page, nothing. So I can go and I can search, BTC sessions. There we go. I can click there and I can add a contact there. But it's not like as soon as you receive a transaction from somebody, they're going to be added to your contacts right away. And actually, that could change based on the version. Maybe that'll be a change in an update later on. But with the version that's running on this phone anyways, that was not the case. So there you go. Let's take a quick look at some of the other baked in features here. And we're going to start now with the store. And just so you know, we're just for keeping this speedy, I'm on the original one that we set up, the original wallet, which is the change in the balance and the lack of transaction history. But just while it's loaded up here, I'm going to tap on store in the bottom right there. And we see a few things. You can shop with Bitcoin. You can use ChatGPT. You can do messaging. You can do VPN. So when we choose shop with Bitcoin, this is powered by the Bitcoin company, and you need to have an email address associated with this. But once you do, the Bitcoin company is a website where you can basically purchase gift cards based on your jurisdiction for a ton of different stuff. So things like Amazon or groceries or other online stores or Apple Store or Walmart or whatever it may be, you can get a ton of different gift cards. So you basically save an email, it'll give you a full storefront, and then you'll get redemption codes and all of that stuff, which is awesome. You get them emailed to you. So that's a really cool feature baked in. Now the ChatGPT thing, you can basically get it baked into the app, and you can pay with Lightning to purchase your plan, which is also really cool. And it gives you, it's based on computational power. So again, just over, at the time we're recording this video, I think it's about 1,600 sats per dollar. So, like $1.50 for 100 searches. So there you go. You have these different tiers, and then you can just search within the app. Messaging. This is interesting. So you can send an SMS without giving away your personal phone number. When you go to send, what country, what's the phone number, and then it'll let you know a fee in order to send said text message, and vice versa. I want to receive a text message. That's coming soon, but it'll be the same kind of layout where it's like, where do you want a number from? Here's the number, receive the text, you'll see it there. And again, a fee associated with it. That's super awesome. That's useful. That's definitely would come in handy for me. And then finally, let's take a look at the VPN option here. To use a VPN, please download WireGuard VPN client. You can download here, and then you continue, and then you just choose your locale and how long, and it'll give you an amount in sats, and you can pay it directly from the app. Super convenient, awesome to see. And I really like that they're incorporating, well, how do I use my Bitcoin? You can, have this wallet and be good to go. Another thing I want to touch on really briefly here is in the settings, if you scroll down to the bottom, there is point of sale. And if you tap on this, you can choose a display currency, what you're going to be charging in. You can, of course, do Bitcoin or sats. Store name, I'm just going to leave that for right now, but you can name it whatever you want. And then you can see employee instructions, or you can open up the point of sale. And so this will take you to a static web page. And here's the cool thing. What this does is it allows you to type an amount you'd like to receive. So let's say $1. And once you type in your amount, you hit plus, and then it adds it up top. And so this is like maybe you have multiple items, and you hit plus, and then it adds it up top. Okay, so and then your total will be down below. So if you have multiple items you're choosing, adding, just type them all in. There you go. When you hit charge $3, it's going to generate an invoice, and that will go directly to your wallet. Now, the cool thing is this up here, this link can be given to anybody without compromising your funds, because it's just a storefront. It's a point of sale, but the funds go to your custody, to your wallet, and the person that's working the storefront has no access to that. So that's super awesome. I'll just back out here, and you can see that in employee instructions, how to accept Bitcoin payments. This is the link here. You share it, scan QR code with your camera, click 3 dots, add to home screen, and it's just like a progressive web app where you click on it and there's your storefront. So that's super slick. I really, really like that. And just another example of how easy it can be to set up a Bitcoin storefront nowadays with something like this. Really cool. So some final thoughts here in and around Blitz Wallet. First up, I want to talk about despite all of the in-depth explanation here that I gave as I'm outlining what's happening in the background and actually working through it in my brain, that's just because I've kind of come into Bitcoin at a time where most people were doing on-chain transactions, and then Lightning happened and we have this shift, and now things like Cashu and Liquid and all of these things are happening in boltz swaps. And so I see where Bitcoin started, and so I feel the need to clarify what's happening in the background. But it's important to denote that the average person will not need to know exactly what's going on in the background. And I really, really like the trajectory that we're on in these kind of hybrid wallets where the background, it's obfuscated and somebody can just hit receive. And regardless of what you're going to receive and what the person's going to send, like what networks they're using, they just interoperate. And so I can just hit receive, and based on the amount that I'm receiving, the amount I currently have, and what the wallet intuits are best practices or what I have personally set in the background, it will just do its thing. And I think that's the future we're heading into. Much like when you walk up to a storefront nowadays and it's just a single point of sale terminal, and it doesn't matter if you're tapping a debit card or a Visa card or a MasterCard or whatever it is, it just kind of, the machine just figures it out. And so I think that's kind of what we're seeing the beginnings of with these types of wallets, where there's cashu, there's the Liquid network with interoperability with Lightning as a boltz swap, and then there's full custody Lightning channels based on your interactions and your balances. That's kind of the direction we're going. And so, I really, really like kind of how this is shaping up, because it makes it easier to recommend a singular solution to a newcomer instead of saying, okay, well, it doesn't make sense for you to have a full Lightning channel yet with small balances. Well, I do this demo, so maybe we'll get this wallet. But then you're not going to use this wallet later because we'll move to this one. But then you're not going to use that wallet all the time because then we're going to move to this one for a different purpose. And it becomes too much for the individual. But if you can just say like, hey, we're going to use this one because it'll do all the things we need it to do when we need it to do them. That's where we need to be. And this is the direction that I'm seeing from stuff like that. So that's what gets me excited. Now, in terms of things I encountered, obviously I'm doing this and the wallet is still in beta. And so I'm running into things as I go through. Of course, I turned on the experimental stuff too. That's in the beta. So the cashu stuff, just be aware that from time to time, I encountered things off screen where I would send a little demo transaction and some of them would pop up and then others just wouldn't. So obviously you're limited in how much you can lose there given that you're sending small transactions. But I did encounter some missed payments where it's just like, I don't know, the mint didn't know that it happened or the wallet didn't see the trigger with the ecash. That I don't know. And so just be aware that that can be a thing, especially in beta phase with an experimental feature turned on, that can happen. Regarding the contact list, I think it's super convenient to have a contact list. What I would like to see is interoperability for contact lists with different wallets. And the thing that I think fixes that, to be honest, is Nostr. When Mutiny did their contact list, they didn't do an internal contact list. They just said, plunk your npub here, and there's your contacts. And so obviously not everybody is familiar with Nostr, but Nostr effectively is a set of social connections that you can take with you anywhere in any application. And so yes, it can be used for social media, but it can also be used for contacts for payments. And we're seeing this with things like Nostr Wallet Connect and all of that. And I kind of think that Nostr becomes the social layer for all of the things. No longer is that owned by a central entity, but it is just, okay, I've got my private key for Nostr, and I may not use social media, but I pay people, and if I can just plunk that into a wallet, then that's great. And so, while I appreciate the contact stuff that's baked in there, it's great. They've got scannable QR codes, all of that. Little finicky things. Actually, to be honest, would like to be kind of see an option pop up when somebody sends me a payment and adds me as a contact. But more importantly, I would like to be able to move from ecosystem to ecosystem with a simple set of credentials that brings all of my contacts with me always. And so this is a gentle nudge to the guys that are building this awesome wallet to maybe just take a peek. And I don't want to pressure anybody into building something that they don't want to build. But I think it would be worth just kind of eyeballing it and seeing if it might be worth looking at over time, because it's something that I definitely value. I think some people are starting to hone into the idea that this isn't just social media. It is, again, your social connections, your social graph that can be used anywhere for any purpose at any time. So yeah, that's something that I would really like to see. And then lastly, the point of sale stuff. I love how simple that is. Oh, there's a web page. It goes back to your wallet. Give the web page to anybody. They can sell stuff on your behalf and accept payments. Super cool. So with that, I encourage you to check out and play around with Blitz. Again, I love the direction that wallets in general are going. I really like what they're building here. And, I've seen this one around and seen rumblings about it. And if I'm not mistaken, they're about to launch on the App Store probably not too long after this video gets released. So right now you got to go download the APK file or you got to go into test flight for Apple. But I think this one is going to be a wallet that really makes leaps and bounds quite quickly. I can see them working in the background so fast within the Telegram group, and they're killing it. So hats off to the Blitz guys. Really good work, and please do continue it. Anyways, you guys, I'm curious what you think. Let me know your thoughts in and around what Blitz is doing, some of the technicals in the background. Is what I'm saying true? Can it just be kind of obfuscated and as a new user, you can just come in, hit receive, and go? Let me know your thoughts and let me know what other features you'd like to see within the wallet. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please do like, subscribe, share, all those things. They're super important, getting this content in front of more eyeballs. Now, if you'd like to help the show in another way, hit up the previously mentioned sponsors in the show notes down below. And if you are sorting through the channel, you're checking out tutorials like this, and you've hit a snag somewhere, you're trying to learn, but you need some one-on-one help, some hand-holding, please do reach out to my team at bitcoinmentor.io. We have an incredible group of educators that can help you through just about anything: wallets, hardware, multisig, running a node, your own Lightning node, even like home mining as a hobbyist, all kinds of stuff. You name it, they can get you sorted. So jump over to bitcoinmentor.io. You can book a free 15-minute session to kind of discuss where you're at and what you're looking to learn. If it makes sense to you, you can move forward and start your learning journey, or get out of a funk where you don't want to be a Bitcoin Luddite anymore and you want to move on because maybe you've been standing still for a little while. So with that, I'm out. Have yourselves a wonderful day or evening, wherever you may be. See you guys next time for your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.